Hello, everyone. Here's Max, student ambassador here at CU Denver Admissions Department. And I just wanted to talk about something. And I actually did quite a bit of research for this because it's a pretty important topic, definitely to me as well. And I'm sure it's a question you've been wondering yourself if you are thinking about coming into CU Denver or you are coming into CU Denver. What will CU Denver be like during the pandemic? And that's just it's an important topic because a lot of people, that's just important to many individuals, and it's just going to be a bit different. So I'm going to go over three major categories. First, will be the classes at CU Denver. So what will the classes be like? Will they be? Well, should you even come in person, or should you sign up for remote classes? How many remote classes will be offered? Things like that. Then I'll go over what the general CU Denver campus experience will be like, just coming onto campus, having to pass a screening, having to wear a bracelet that shows you have been screened, things like that. And then last but not least, on-campus housing. If you do still plan on living on campus, what that will look like during COVID. So first, we're going to talk about classes. So here at CU Denver, we really prioritize the safety of incoming students and all faculty. Of course, I've definitely seen that and experienced that myself firsthand. So even though we technically have the ability to have a lot of in-person classes, realistically, most teachers are going to elect to go remote just because it's safer for everyone. Of course, you can still do that somewhat safely in person. And also another thing is that if you are hoping to go into an in-person class, CU Denver is prioritizing more in-person classes for first-year students and like new students because it is a bit harder to not a bit harder, but it's a bit more of a smooth experience when you're brand new to college and you have in-person classes. So we will be prioritizing in-person classes for first-year students, but you can always elect to take in-person or remote classes. You might have to come in for like maybe once a week or twice a week for like a hybrid class if there are only hybrid classes for that class you're looking at. And also another thing is that you will, of course, have to socially distance, which makes a lot of sense. Like everyone should be doing it. Social distancing and mask wearing if you do go into an in-person class. So that is definitely going to be a factor. CU Denver is taken very seriously. The mask wearing policy is going to be enforced. You're going to have your temperature read, things like that. But that's still kind of up in the air a little bit too. But what I'm trying to say is it's taken not without a grain of salt. It's taken seriously. And one hint is that when you search CU Denver classes, you just go to the search function. You can even just search, or search up on Google, CU Denver class search, and it'll pop right up. When you search classes, you can see if they're remote, in person, or hybrid. It should say right there, so that'll help you, and you can just choose all online classes, or as many as you can find, if that's what you'd like to do. And a couple more facts about classes at CU Denver. One, and it's I just want to mention it just because it's a lot of people's questions that they have is tuition will not be lessened due to everything going remote. So that's just I guess just it's important to be aware of that. Just wanted to mention that. And then also just important to know as well is that if there is a sharp uprise or upticking, a huge uprise in cases during while we're in the fall semester, all classes will go completely remote. So that's something to be aware of as well. Is that there's a possibility that if Colorado starts looking like Florida or Arizona or something like that, all classes will. It's possible that they could all just go flat out remote too. So that's something to be aware of as well. And also one more thing is that it's highly recommended that if you, and this is coming straight from like the CU Denver kind of safe return release information that they're releasing to the public and everyone right now, but they recommend that if you are in the at-risk category, it's recommended that this is kind of obvious, but that you stay at home and just take remote classes. Yeah, and I should mention that all this information, I've done extensive research. It's just coming right from our safe return team, which is kind of like the force, the squad, if you will, that's in charge of returning safely to campus. So this is straight from the horse's mouth right here. Now we're going to move on to our next topic. It's just going to be the general CU Denver experience. What it's just going to be like, not just in classes, but just being on campus for any reason whatsoever. What's that going to be like, really? Like I said, I did a lot of research on this, and it's just going to be a lot of what you would expect, which is really good. A lot of mandates and regulations that come right from the state of Colorado. Things like social distancing, 6 feet of space between people. Always needing to wear masks, not just in class, but on campus as well. So just those kind of things that the Colorado is doing in general. Another thing as well is that you will need to have some kind of health assessment when you arrive on campus. That actually is still in the works, but I'll probably include temperature taking. But it's like I said, it's still in the works right now. Another thing to just be aware of is that everything will be really heavily sanitized. So, people will be taking those Lysol wipes to counters and seats and everything in between. And it's going to be sanitized, every, like a regular amount of time. I don't know what it is yet, but it's like every, day, every 4 hours, something like that. And then another thing, sorry, it's a lot of information. It's very information dense. I did a lot of research on this. Another thing is that most of these centers but most of the resources really on campus will be offered more remotely. So in a previous video, I talked about like our math tutoring and our regular like all subject tutoring, and that will be mainly remote. So a lot of those services, like the writing centers, will be offered mainly remotely. And then one last thing about the general CU Denver experience, like just being on campus, is that there will be contact tracing as well. Like I said, people are taking this very seriously. So if you work on campus or if you're in a hybrid class and you do meet on campus and one of you get sick with COVID and it's been confirmed, or someone in your class gets sick, there will be contact tracing. So the class will shut down for a little bit, or your work will, like the people you work with, that bubble, you won't be able to, those people won't be able to work at that time. So there will be contact tracing, just like it happens, in the real world in Colorado. So that's just something I wanted to mention as well. So we're going to move into our third topic right here. Let's see if it pops up. No, definitely does not. Here we go. On-campus housing, otherwise known as Lynx Crossing. And it's definitely going to be a different experience, and it's going to tell you all about what that's going to look like during the COVID pandemic at CU Denver. And this topic's a bit more straightforward. It's a lot of the stuff I've already talked about, so I won't talk about that at all here. But basically, there's just going to be a lot of social distancing measures at Lynx Crossing or on-campus housing. A lot of precautions like limiting the amount of people in dorms, like a 4-person apartment or dorm will now only hold 2 people, and there'll be a limited amount of people in the bathroom, stuff like that. It might be a good idea to stay home to be safe, but if being on campus is important to you, there are definitely measures being put in place. But it's just whether you want to weigh that. If it's really important to you to be on campus, you will go to class, but there won't be that many in-person classes. Or being more safe at home is more important to you. It's just there will be a lot of measurements though, or precautions, excuse me, taking place at Lynx Crossing. And then one last thing is that there's more precautions being taken for the cafeteria as well. So there will be social distancing for dining in the if you have a meal plan and whatnot. And they're also offering a new thing where it's just to go. You can take your food right back to your dorm, and it's just like they have dine-in. They also have curbside pickup, you could almost call it, but it's really just going and getting your food and taking it back to your apartment. So I know that was a lot of information, so thank you for bearing with me, but it was really cool to learn about all this and spread this information to all y'all. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.